first. Those are the first word here. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 So we continue with what we were talking about Lord Dattatreya. Dattatreya is associated with the sign Pisces. And Pisces, if you look at the symbol of the Meena Rashi, there are two fishes, one going upwards and one going downwards. The entire energy of Jala Tattva is in the Meena Rashi. This is called the Rashi of Varuna. The Rashi of Varuna, or the Rashi which symbolizes the power of Varuna Deva, where the moon is born over here, Chandra is born over here. So therefore, Meena Rashi has this power of duality, of holding both sides of the moon. What are the two sides of the moon? One is Shukla Paksha, when the light is going up, the fish is swimming up, and the Krishna Paksha, when the fish is swimming down. So Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, that is what is symbolized by the two fishes, you know. One going up and one going down. So Meena Rashi has this Dattatreya energy. That is why we pray to Dattatreya. Dattatreya Hare Krishna, Unmatta Anandadayaka. See, this is the mantra which cures the diseases of the mind. And who says that you do not have a disease in the mind? Some part of your mind is surely diseased. And to cure oneself of this disease of the mind, we should pray to Dattatreya. Dattatreya Hare Krishna, Unmatta Anandadayaka. Dattatreya Hare Krishna, Unmatta Anandadayaka. I will speak more about Dattatreya and his total understanding of Vishnu, which is the fish going upwards, and Shiva, fish going downwards. The Shukla Paksha, Vishnu Paksha, the Krishna Paksha, Rudra Paksha. The complete understanding of Dattatreya. People who truly follow Dattatreya, will have equal amount of respect for the fish going upwards and for the fish going downwards. You will like both sides of the moon. You will like the moon going upwards in Shukla Paksha and the moon going downwards in Krishna Paksha. And because of this moodiness, the moon, the Chandra causes Meena Rashi to become very moody. They are extremely sensitive, super sensitive because of Ketu. That is why Ketu becomes a Lord of Meena. It is super sensitivity it gives, headlessness behavior. The logic is not there. When we say we are emotional, moody, we are not being logical. and that is what is Ketu. We start this talk about the moon because we want to talk about the return of the moon, to get our mind back, to get our consciousness back. And to do that, we are talking now about the return of Somanath. Our topic today is the return of Somanath. You can see an adjoining picture where some of the most powerful people in this country around the year 1947 to 1950, these people, the first thing that India did as far as spirituality is concerned was the return of Somnath in the year 1947 to 1950. That was the birth of the nation, the birth of Bharat, the rebirth of Bharat. The dream of Chanakya was fulfilled. Chanakya wanted this entire Bharatavarsha to be one country. And this dream was fulfilled by one man called Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel of Gujarat. This Sardar Patel, this great man, he made a sankalpa. He made a sankalpa that the Somnath temple will be rebuilt by us. So what if they break it? We went about the breakage of the Somnath temple so many times. And this Somnath temple has to be rebuilt. And this is what was the sankalpa of Sardar Patel. And for this, he was willing to sacrifice his whole being for the fulfillment of the dream of Chanakya Pandita, that the whole Bharatavarsha should be one country, and this mad battles between these kings has to come to an end. Otherwise the dharma will not be protected anymore. That is the main reason. And this sankalpa was agreed to by the then President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He was very keen to see the reconstruction of this temple. So on the one hand side, from the west, we have Sardar Patel, and from the east of India, from the state of Bihar, Angadesha, we have Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So we will also study this horoscope or the chart of the Somanath Jyotirlinga. And I will show you how Lord Shiva himself intervened to ensure that the best muhurtam was chosen for the reconstruction of this temple. On 13th of November 1947, about few months after the independence of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel promised to rebuild the temple. Now, those of you who are into Jyotish would like to study the chart of 13th of November 1947. Why did Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel suddenly want to make the chart of Somnath within 3 months? In August, we got independence. September, October, November. See, 3 months. Within 3 months, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel wanted to rebuild the temple. So this is something important we learn about Desha Jataka. In Naisargika Dasha, the first Dasha shall always be that of the baby. The first Dasha will always be that of the baby. And this baby is ruled by the planet Moon. Moon creates babies. So in the year 1947, on 15th of August, India was born. Bharat was born. That is the birthday of India. And the Dasha naturally, the Naisargika, natural Dasha of India would be that of Chandra. And it is natural that at that point of time, India should have a want to have a temple of Somanath rebuilt. We will come to the natal chart of India sometime, where you will see that it is Taurus Lagna. And the Jyotirlinga associated with Taurus is Somnath. Therefore, without the Somanath Jyotirlinga, there is no guarantee that India shall be protected. There is no guarantee that the people of India will be, that the population of India will survive the terrible diseases and the plagues and all that were ravaging this country for centuries. The Bengal famine, the plagues. There are so many diseases and plagues that have ravaged India. And yet we have survived through everything by the grace of Somnath. And therefore, the minimum we had to do was to rebuild the temple. They went to Mahatma Gandhi. So he went, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel went to Mahatma Gandhi on 13th of November 1947. Sardar Patel promised that he will rebuild the temple. And in the presence of Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi completely endorsed the plan, but he had a condition. Mahatma Gandhi was really a Mahatma. To understand him is very difficult. He endorsed the plan, but he wanted that the temple should be built with the public contribution. Why did Mahatma Gandhi do this? Because Mahatma Gandhi wanted that maybe one or two rich people will give a lot of money, but that is not a temple of the people. A temple of the people has to be a temple by the people. You cannot have a temple of the people without having a temple by the people. So it is the people of India who have to jointly contribute, and no individual shall claim to have contributed all the money for the reconstruction of Somnath. Because Somnath is for babies, Somanath is for life, and every child has a right to life and a right to have babies. On 15th December 1950, that is about a month after that, not a month, about 3 years after that, I told you 47 to 50. So this was the planning stage. 47 to 57, 57, 47 to 48, 49, 50. 3 years. In the 4th year of the planning, Sardar Patel died. Sardar Patel died on 15th December 1950 when Surya was in Scorpio and just about to enter Dhanu Rashi. So therefore everybody thought that this particular temple will not be built. But you see, Chandra, moon, rules food. Very interesting. What is the most important signification of the moon? The moon rules food. And the then food minister was K.M. Munshi. K.M. Munshi was a very pious and a very spiritual person. The Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and all these things have been founded by this K.M. Munshi. He had a daughter, and his daughter went on to be a sadhu in the Sharada Mutt. This K.M. Munshi was totally the food minister. What is food minister? Chandra minister. So Chandra minister or food minister took up the responsibility, took up the mantle. So who was the first person who made the Sankalpa? Sardar Patel. Who is the person who took up the responsibility? The second person, K.M. Munshi. Chandra is second. So the present temple was reconstructed in the Chalukya style of Hindu temples of architecture. On 11th May 1951, it was completed and the Sankalpa was done. So what is the birthday of the new temple of Somanath? It is 11th of May 1951. Normally the President of India, you see, nowadays the President of India is expected to be what is called secular. Nowadays, in the year 1947, the founding fathers of India refused to have a word like secular. in the Indian Constitution. This was inserted later by Indira Gandhi, because secular, in its original meaning, in its original English meaning, means people who do not follow any religion. Adharma, adharma. The word secular means adharma. In 1947, people like Rajendra Prasad, and all these great ones, Ambedkar, the one who wrote, he himself was a very spiritual person. Very spiritual person Ambedkar was. A Maharashtrian, you see. And you see these people. Even Nehru himself. You see, these people cannot agree. I mean, in any calculation, you cannot call India a secular country. That is the lie. It is a lie of the highest order. It is the absolute power of an absolute person that you will make India, which is the land of dharma. This is the land of dharma, and you are saying that it is secular. That is such a big lie. So we in India, we want to know all about religion and all the religions. We want to learn the Parsis religion. We want to learn about Zoroaster. We want to learn about the Jain Muni Mahavira. We want to learn about Gautam Buddha. We want to learn about the Chinese religion. I read so much of the Chinese. Today morning I was sitting and reading the Russian astrology, having the Lilith moon and the true Lilith and all those things. We Indians, we are like that. That is how we are. We want to know. And there is nothing to be ashamed. In fact, we should be proud that we are blessed with this thirst for knowledge. To say that India is secular is a crime against the people. So the first president of India, Rajendra Prasad, he led the reconstruction ceremony of Somanath Jyotirlinga at the temple, much to the dismay of Nehru. Nehru did not want the president of India to be involved in this religious affair. But Dr. Rajendra Prasad was not going to listen to this rubbish. He said, Nehru, British education is good, but some of these colleges in England have too much of communism, where they are talking about secular, where God has to be wiped out from the face of the earth. God has to be wiped out from the face of the earth. That is what they are talking about. So Nehru was highly influenced by that kind of thought. And he told Dr. Rajendra Prasad not to do that, because he was the prime minister. He was extremely powerful. So if Dr. Rajendra Prasad wanted a second term, he would have listened to Nehru. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad had the two options. I can listen to Nehru and continue to be the president after my first term. He can become president for 10 years, 20 years, who knows, as long as Nehru was there. He could have made a deal like politicians do nowadays. But that was the great Babu Rajendra Prasad. He said, no. Somnath is more important than Nehru. So therefore, much to the dismay of Nehru, he not only went and there, he also gave such a stirring speech. The Prana Pratishtha was done at 9:47 a.m. as that was the Muhurta fixed. The Muhurta that was given for the Prana Pratishtha was within 2 minutes, and from 9:47 to 9:49, that 9:48, that exact time they had to do it. Today astrologers give muhurta for marriages also. They just give, okay, this hour, this lagna, 2 hours you get married, this lagna. Because you see something as important as this and how the muhurta was done. To the minute. It is a very important lesson for Jyotishis. That look how serious these people were in the year 1947. What kind of Jyotishis were there in this Bharatavarsha in the year 1947? And where are we now? This is a picture when Dr. Rajendra Prasad presided the installation ceremony of the Somanath Jyotirlinga in deshgujarat.com. You can go to that website and see these pictures. You can see these are the pictures of Babu Rajendra Prasad here with that mustache, you know. This is the President of India sitting out here for the consecration of the Shivalinga. The physical symbols of our civilization may be destroyed, but no arms, army or king could destroy the bond that the people had with their culture and faith. Till that bond remained, the civilization will survive. It was the creative urge for civilizational renewal, nurtured in the hearts of the people through centuries, that once again led to the Prana Pratishtha of Somnath. Somnath was the symbol of economic and spiritual prosperity of ancient India. This is a part of the great speech of Babu Rajendra Prasad at the Somanath temple. Words that are being repeated now after so many decades. With great pride, I bring these words in front of you. And what he says, I could not find words to write. I said, no, I must give what such a learned Dr. Rajendra Prasad said. And you see for yourself what he's talking about. What is this Indian civilization? What is the Bharata? And why the Prana Pratishtha of Somnath was very important. So who did the Prana Pratishtha? Who was the person who did it? The President of India has done the Prana Pratishtha of the Somnath temple, and that is the correct thing to do. Whoever shall be the head of the state must bow to Shiva. If the head of the state does not bow to Shiva, Shiva will chop the head. Actually, Shiva does not chop the head. It is Rudra who chops the head, because Rudra is a worshipper of Shiva. Bhairava is a worshipper of Shiva. Nandi is a worshipper of Shiva. The Bhringi and the Ganas and the Ganapati, they are all worshippers of Shiva. Kartikeya is a mighty worshipper. So they will come and completely destroy the whatever evil remains, because when you worship Shiva, you are seeking knowledge, you are seeking truth, and so long as you are seeking the truth and seeking knowledge, you will be on the right path. That is the meaning of the Vedic civilization that has lived in India. This is the chart of Sri Somanath Prana Pratishtha. It is extremely interesting Muhurta. I present to you the Rashi and the Navamsha of Somanath Prana Pratishtha, which was done on a Friday, Shukravara. The day chosen was Shukravara. Why was Shukravara chosen? Because Shukra is the greatest worshipper of Lord Shiva. His tapasya, the tapasya of Shukra, is immortal in the Mrityunjaya mantra. Even Brihaspati could not match him when it comes to tapasya. Therefore, we say, if you have to do tapasya, you have to do it like Shukra. If you have to be truthful, you have to be like Brihaspati. Truth, Brihaspati. Tapasya, Shukra. So therefore, the Friday was chosen, and it was the 11th of May 1951, 9:47 in the morning in Veraval. You can see Gemini was the Lagna rising, and the Lagna Lord was in the 11th house. 11th house is called the Ekadasha Rudra Bhava. The Bhava of the human beings, the consciousness of human beings will be on Rudra. Why is that so? Because the 10th house from the 11th is the 8th house. If you look at the 11th house where the Lagna Lord is, that is called Paka Lagna. What is that called? Paka Lagna. So where is the Paka Lagna? Paka Lagna is in Mesha Rashi, Aries. With which planet is the Paka Lagna? With Surya exalted, with Mars in own sign. So the Agni was maintained at the highest level. The rule, this is not Tattva Linga. There are different kinds of lingas. There are Tattva Lingas and there are Jyotirlingas. In the Jyotirlingas, Surya must be very, very powerful. Surya has to be extremely powerful in the Jyotirlingas. We have to do everything to make Surya very, very powerful for the Jyotirlingas. Clear? So here Surya was in Aries Rashi and Scorpio Navamsha. Very interesting. Scorpio Navamsha. There are much more rules which we will go into. So we find Surya in Aries in the Rashi and in Scorpio in the Navamsha. The Paka Lagna is in Aries with Pranapada. Do you see PP over there? Pranapada in the 11th house. Those of you who have studied Parashara Jyotish course year 1, you would have realized that we have done a whole day of studies only in the different house positions of Pranapada. Please go back and study Pranapada in 11th house. When the Pranapada is called a Lagna, it is called the Prana Lagna. The Prana Lagna is in the 11th house. The Prana is in the 11th house. And how is the Prana? The Prana is with Mangala. When the Pranapada is with Mangala, the Prana is extremely powerful because of Rudra. Mars carries the Rudra energy of Scorpio. From Scorpio Rashi, Mangal will carry the Rudra energies. These Rudra energies will come from Scorpio to Aries, and in Aries you can see Mangala is in own sign, having extremely powerful Agni Tattva. But then it would have become a Tattva Linga. It will become a Tattva Linga and not a Jyotirlinga. For Jyotirlinga, this Agni has to go to Surya. And that is why Surya is exalted to take that Agni from Mars. And not only that, the Lagna Lord has to be associated. The Muhurta Lagna Lord must be associated. The Muhurta Lagna Lord is also associated, and all this is happening in the 11th house. So the Jyotirlinga is getting all the Agni and the light, the Jyoti, not just fire. It has to be light, not heat, light. The light of Surya is coming to the Lagna. Now all this light which is coming from Aries, from Surya and Mars, generating tremendous amount of Shiva Bimba, the light of Shiva. Who is carrying that? Mercury is carrying that light. To where Mercury will carry that light? He will carry it to the sign Gemini. In the sign Gemini, there are two planets, Venus and the Moon. Now, why is Venus associated over here? Because Lord Somanath will not come down without Venus. Venus is the Lord of Taurus. Chandra is the Lord of Taurus. So both the planets, Venus and the Moon, have to be together involved in receiving the Shiva Bimba from Aries. Venus and Moon are both involved in the Lagna, as you can see. So Durga Mata is receiving the Shiva Bimba in the sign Gemini, and she will carry it to her own house. Now, if Venus is alone, Venus will carry the Shiva Bimba to Tula Rashi. If Venus is alone, Venus will carry the Shiva Bimba to the Mula Trikona Tula Rashi. Whereas if Venus is with Chandra, this Shiva Bimba will go to Taurus for food. Otherwise, Shukra would have carried it to the 7th house for Vivaha and other Vaha purposes. for Vaha, whereas here it will carry it to Annam, to food. Venus and moon together. So it was very critical that Venus must be conjoined the moon, then only we can be guaranteed that this energy, the Shiva Bimba, will go to Taurus. Am I being understood? That is called Annapurna Yoga of Taurus. And this Durga alone can do this. So that is why the Shiva Bimba was received in the Lagna, which means that it will go to Taurus. Wow. This is just the Rashi chart. What about Jupiter? Jupiter has to be extremely powerful. Which Jyotirlinga are we talking about? We are talking about Somanath Jyotirlinga. Jupiter is in which Rashi? Jupiter is in Pisces. And where is the Achadana of Guru? Achadana of Guru. That means Guru is in meditation. When Jupiter is in meditation, he will meditate on which Rashi? He will meditate on the third house from where he is placed. If Jupiter is in Pisces, his meditation energy is going to Taurus. This is the Parakrama of Guru. It is the Guru Parakrama, where it is actually Paraloka. It is Paraloka. It is called the Paraloka Gamana Shakti of Brihaspati. Brihaspati has the power to uplift anything and everything. He can exalt anybody and everybody. He can remove the doshas from anything and everything. So therefore Jupiter has to be in Pisces for the Somanath Jyotirlinga to be revived. Wherever Jupiter is placed, the third house from that is called Guru Achadana. The nice thing about Guru, the beautiful blessing of the Guru. Where is the beautiful blessing of the Guru? Where is the Guru Achadana? It is in Taurus. And what is Taurus? It is the Somanath Jyotirlinga. Did you see that? Shubhapati, moon sign lord is called Shubhapati. Shubhapati is Mercury and Mercury is Vishnu. Not just as Mercury, but also as the Shubhapati. And in this case, Mercury has occupied Taurus in the Navamsha. Mercury has occupied Taurus in the Navamsha, which is again the sign of the Jyotirlinga. We will come to many more things later. I want you to notice the Parampara Yoga of Jupiter and Ketu in the 8th house, in the Navamsha. And I want you to notice the Graha Malika Yoga in the Navamsha from the 8th house to the 11th house. 4 Rashis are covered. It is not really Malika because Malika starts from 5. But this is a Nabhas. This is a kind of Nabhas Yoga. This is a Rudra Nabhas from the 8th house to the 11th house. And how many planets are involved? You can see 6 planets are involved. Ketu, Jupiter is starting the yoga. Surya, Shukra, Mangala and Shani are all together. You can see that. And why is Shani in Makara Rashi? Here Shani in Makara Rashi is indicating Kali Yuga Rashi and the name Somnath. Shani in Makara Rashi is indicating the country, the Desha, where the Shivalinga is established. Why do I say Desha? Look at Saturn in the 4th house in the Rashi chart. Saturn in the 4th house in the Rashi chart is in Capricorn in the Navamsha chart, indicating that the Desha Rashi is Gujarat or Saurashtra. So like that, there is so much more that I can talk about. And yes, when we meet in the evening in Somnath in the coming year in 2024 during SMP, in the evening I will go into much detail about the power of the Somanath Jyotirlinga. There is so much that is to be learned. You see, this Saturn and Jupiter are forming Dharma Karmadipati Yoga. People, you see the 9th Lord Saturn and the 10th Lord Jupiter are in Dharma Karmadipati Yoga. Is the 7th Lord and the 9th Lord in Yoga? Yes, the 7th Lord Jupiter and the 9th Lord Saturn are in Yoga. When the 7th Lord and the 9th Lord shall go into Yoga, it shows Shiva Bhakti or Bhakti for Lord Shiva. And there is so much more. 2nd Lord is in Lagna, Shrimanta Yoga. 5th Lord is in Yoga. 5th Lord and the 2nd Lord are in Yoga with the 12th Lord. I mean, there is a there is a Lord. Jupiter is in Hansa Yoga. Naturally, it is Somnath. The two Hansa Yogas of Jupiter. In Dhanu Rashi, when Jupiter is causing Hansa Yoga, it is Kedarnath, Kedar Shankara, Pancha Kedar. Whereas Jupiter in Meena Rashi is Mahasomnath. Whereas Jupiter in exaltation is Mallikarjuna. So these are the Hansa Yogas. Wherever Jupiter is, you should know where the Achadana of Guru is. The spiritual path is through the Achadana. The spiritual path is through the Achadana. The spiritual path is what you have to do so that you can get the knowledge of Jupiter. What is the spiritual purpose of the temple? To know the spiritual purpose of the temple, we have to do the Vimshamsha chart. Remember, the Pandits had said that this has to be done within a minute of 9:47 a.m. That Muhurtam they had chosen. And why did they choose the Muhurta? For that, you have to see the D20 chart. The D20 chart is very, very important. It tells us what is the power of this Jyotirlinga, what this Jyotirlinga will surely do for every human being. Now you see in this chart, Lagna rising is Karka Lagna, moon. See, moon. And where is the Lagna Lord Moon? It is the 5th house of mantra. With whom? With Mangala Mantresha. So moon and Mars are in Scorpio. So moon and Mars are in Scorpio. So moon and Mars in Scorpio means the people. 5th house is the people. The people of India, the people of the world, they will pray to Somanath so that Chandra will get Nicha Bhanga. You see, Mercury is Kubera in Karka Rashi. In Cancer, Mercury is Kubera. So Lord Shiva is in Somanath. Shiva is empowered to give you tremendous amount of money. He will give you a lot of money, lot of wealth. He will give you everything that you need. Your greed will go away. After some time, he will fulfill everything. You don't have any greed left. You see that. This is the main purpose, the 5th house. The 6th house, Shukra, shows the brahmacharya. The brahmacharya that must be maintained while doing the tapasya of Lord Shiva. You have to maintain brahmacharya. Shukra in 6th house, brahmacharya Shukra has to be maintained. And the 9th house, Jupiter is in Meena Rashi with Rahu Ketu. In Vimshamsha, the Rahu Ketu conjunction shows the exit point, moksha point. And where is Rahu Ketu? It is in Meena Rashi. So Somnath is with Jupiter. So who is giving moksha? Jupiter is giving moksha. Jupiter is giving moksha through which Rashi? Through Meena Rashi. And what is Meena Rashi? Is the birth of the moon. It is the rebirth of the moon. That is what Somanath does. He does not allow the moon to die. And this Jupiter is aspecting moon and Mars in Scorpio. So whenever dharma is in peril, he will lift the Chandra. He will lift the mind. The mind will become strong. The mind will become very powerful. And if the manas becomes so powerful, it is not possible to defeat. It is not possible to defeat this Chandra. Chandra is the blood. The blood will survive. So that is the power of Somnath. You see, if the Muhurtam was lost, moon will not be debilitated. If the moon is not debilitated, how will Shiva give Nicha Bhanga to the moon? The moon has to go to Scorpio and then Shiva will give Nicha, because the drishti of the moon is in Taurus. Where the moon is placed is Scorpio. That is the experience we are having. We are debilitated, we are Shani, we are troubled by Shani, Rahu. So when we pray to Somanath, we are going from Scorpio to Taurus. Moon is getting automatic Nicha Bhanga. Moon will get automatic Nicha Bhanga. That is why this Muhurta was very, very important. Also, Lagna Lord in 5th house with the 5th Lord. This is Somanath Upasana. Without Somanath Upasana, Nicha Bhanga of moon will not happen. So this Muhurtam, it was very critical. If the Lagna had moved, this will not be in the 5th house. Do you see the problem? If the Lagna goes either this forward or backward, it will not happen. So this is why the priest, the Jyotishis were absolutely determined. Whatever happens, it is at this Muhurtam that it has to be, that the this is called the touching of the ground Muhurtam. What is called in a Shiva Linga, this is not marriage. Marriage, the hand of the girl is put on top of the hand of the boy. Easy. It is so easy. You pick up the hand of the girl, you put it on the hand of the boy, and you put the thread 1, 2, 3. Finished. So easy, right? That is Vivaha Muhurtam. But this is Shiva Muhurtam. This is the time when the Shiva Linga will touch the ground. If the Shiva Linga touches the ground after the puja, you know, the puja is done. There is a big puja which is done where the prana pratishtha, where the prana is given to the. That means once prana is put inside the Shiva Linga, once it touches the ground, it is called Sthavara. It cannot move. This was the problem that Ravana had. Ravana went to Kailash. Big Shiva Linga he took. Very huge Shiva Linga he took to Kailash, and he did Prana Pratishtha over there. Then he put the Shiva Linga on his head and he carried it all the way from there. Unfortunately, the fellow landed somewhere around Odisha and Madhya Pradesh, where he felt like doing susu. Number one, bathroom, wanted to take a piss. The piss pressure became very, very high because Ganesha did powerful mantra to protect Rama. Ganesha knew that Rama avatar has to come. You see, Ganesha put piss pressure in Ravana. I mean, what can you do about that? When you want to take a pee, you have to take the pee. I mean, you can't shout at somebody, you can't get angry at somebody, you just have to take the pee. So Ravana was agitated, he wanted to take the pee, but he didn't want to put the Shivalinga down. Suddenly, one boy, cowherd boy, he appeared over there. And Ravana said, boy, can you just hold the Shivalinga? Not even a minute, I'll take a leak and come. So the boy put the Shiva Linga on his head and said, don't worry, I'll hold it. But come quickly, huh? This is very heavy. I'm a small boy. I can't hold it. Ganesha was right. He had taken the form of a small boy. See that? As soon as Ravana went to take a leak, Ganesha put the Shiva Linga down. Sthavara Linga. The moment Shiva will touch the earth, Lagna is established. This is the most important story of the Shivalinga and Jyotish. What is Lagna? Lagna is the meeting point of Dyosh. Dyosh is the name of Akash Linga. Akash Linga is called Dyosh, the sky. The sky is a Shivalinga. And if you see the sky is like a dome, you see that? The sky, look at the sky, it's like a dome. And that is Akashalinga. And that is Dyos. What's that called? Dyos. Om Dyos Shanti. We always pray for the Akash to be peaceful. Dyos, the moment the Dyos, the sky, touches the earth, Lagna is made. Therefore, if you look at the eastern horizon, the sky is touching the ground. So symbolically, the Shiva Linga is the sky, is a symbol of Akash. So that is why the Shiva Linga is such an auspicious symbol. It has the power to bring the Akash down. But once you place it on the ground, it touches the ground, Lagna is established. You cannot move it from there. Even if you move it, it doesn't matter. The Lagna is established. Once the Lagna is established at a certain place, that is called the birthplace. And the birthplace is fixed, irrespective of wherever you may carry the Shiva Linga. How interesting. Okay. So let us say some of you fellows will come to Somanath. You will say, Guruji, I want to carry a Shiva Linga from Somanath. After this powerful puja, I want to carry the Shiva Linga back to my house. I said, okay. But the Shiva Linga cannot touch the ground. So you got to pack him up properly in cloth and put a metal under that and all that stuff so that the base does not touch the ground. And so long as the base doesn't touch the ground, it is fine. And then when you carry it back, you can remove all that and then you can place it. Remember that. If you put the Shiva Linga on a table, Sthavara, the Lagna has been achieved. Once Lagna is achieved, it cannot be changed. Lagna cannot be changed. It is absolutely fixed. So this was the concept about Lagna. To understand what is Lagna, Lagna is that which is absolutely fixed. My birthplace is Sambalpur. Even if I am living in Delhi and a Tithi Pravesh chart is made or some other annual chart is made, the birthplace has to be taken as Sambalpur because that is the concept of the Linga. Once you are born at a place. You cannot be born again. Okay. There was a Muhurta problem and a divine intervention happened. Moon rules one pal. Pal. Pal is a very, very tiny amount of time. And the duration of Muhurta or auspicious time based on electional Vedic astrology was just one pal. The time given was actually in pal. The Shiva Linga was earlier placed over a Brahma Shila. A Brahma Shila was made and the Shiva Linga was placed on top of it. The Shiva Linga, the Somanath Shiva Linga, has a weight of 2 tons. It is not possible for human beings to just pick up 2 tons and put it in another place in a Muhurta, in a pal. It is not physically possible. Even if you use a crane, you will lift the 2 ton Shiva Linga, take it over to the place and then place it down. It is not going to be easy. So the brilliant solution, a gold shalaka. These are all ancient remedies, ancient Vastu remedies which have been forgotten. A brilliant Vastu solution was made. A gold shalaka called a spider was wedged between the Shiva Linga and the Jaladhari, that is the base. You see, between the base called the Jaladhari and the Shiva Linga, shalaka or a spider was placed under that. At the precise Muhurta, this shalaka was pulled out by Dr. Raj. So the President of India could just hold it with his fingers and tuck, it will slide out. And the moment it slides out, the huge 2 ton Shiva Linga will just touch the Jaladhari. It will sit on the Jaladhari. So in this brilliant engineering, ancient Vedic engineering. You see, this is Vedic engineering. They used Vedic engineering to establish the Somanath Shivalinga at the precise Muhurta without using a crane, without using all 100 people and bull and elephant and all lifting. You see, you want to get entertained? You try to read what the Western engineers are writing about how the Egyptians made the pyramid. You will laugh. They even made movies. Where big old elephants from the ice age were suddenly created in that time, 5,000 years back, and suddenly they appeared from somewhere, and they started pulling all these mega 100-ton stones for making the pyramid. They don't have. This is the level of engineering. The finest architects of the world were asked, do you think you can replicate the pyramid? No, they cannot replicate it. Even today they cannot make it. And why talk about something as precise as so? You see, ancient Vedic engineering is forgotten. They use shalaka. Okay, at the precise muhurta, this shalaka was pulled out by Dr. Rajendra Prasad during the Pratishtha ceremony. This Pratishtha was conducted by the Guru of Lakshmana Shastri Joshi, Shri Guru Sannyasi Shri Kevalanand Saraswati. He is the one who established the Somanath Jyotirlinga Puja. Twice the Muhurta was changed. The installation ceremony of Somanath deity was to be performed by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel on Mahashivratri on 9th of March 1951. The original Muhurta was planned on 9th of March 1951. You can make a horoscope for that also and see how that Muhurta was. But his moksha happened, that is, he died in December 1950. So naturally, because Sankalpa was taken by Sardar Patel and he died, so the Muhurtam has to be shifted, postponed. So the postponed Muhurta was to 7th April 1951, which was actually political decision. Gujarati New Year, Chaitra Pratipad. Chaitra Shukla Pratipad. Some Jyotishi said Chaitra Shukla Pratipad should be chosen. Because just political people will tell Jyotishi, hey, say this, this is good. So the poor Jyotishi fellow told it. He's stupid. Why is he stupid? Because Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is a day for worshipping Vishnu. Shiva will not be pleased. This day is for Sthana Vishnu Puja. In Orissa, this Jagannath has to be worshipped on this day, on Chaitra Shukla Pratipad. In Uttar Pradesh, Sri Ramachandra has to be worshipped. In Delhi and Mathura and Haryana, these regions, isn't that Haryana, Kurukshetra is there, and Punjab, all these regions, Lord Krishna has to be worshipped. In the western region, they will worship Vitthal. On the south, in Andhra, they will worship Varahaswamy, Sri Venkateshwara. Like that. It is for Sthana Vishnu Puja. How can you use that Muhurta for Shiva Pratishtha? This is absolutely wrong. In Jyotish, you must use correct Tithi for the correct installation. So again, Lord Somanath would not have it. Something got delayed, something went wrong, and finally, the second time, the date of 11th May 1951 was found by a top Jyotishi who refused to budge. He said, you have to follow my Muhurta. And that is how it was done. 11th May 1951 was Vaishakha. Moon was in Punarvasu, return of the light. Tithi was Panchami, which was ruled by Jupiter. Saraswati is the Devata of the Tithi. The Jata Graha is Chandra. Those of you who know Jyotish Arudhas and all, you will know Jata Graha. Jata Graha was Chandra in the first house. This is very important. Jata Graha means which planetary light is coming. If you want Somanath Jyotirlinga, Jata Graha has to be Chandra. This is all very, very critical Jyotish calculations. You cannot go wrong in this. Jata Graha has to be Chandra for Somanath. Varesha is Friday, which is ruled by Shukra, which is in the Lagna. And the moon it is ruling the exaltation sign of the moon. So all the Vara Agni is going to and Jupiter is extremely powerful in Meena Rashi for that Chadana. It is not an easy Muhurta. It is a very, very complicated Muhurta. There is a lot of Jyotish technology that has gone into that. Okay, I will. I think so much for today. We will